In a moment that shocked the world, 276 girls were abducted from their school in northern Nigeria. The campaign calling for their release was a global sensation, and Bring Back Our Girls was the rallying cry.
Ina kama ‘yan mata naku zan sayar a kasuwa, wallahi akwai kasuwa na sayar da mutum. Allah ne ya ce in sayar, me shi ne ya umurce ni in sayar. Zan sayar da mata, ina sayar da mata.
In one of the most dangerous places to live and work in Nigeria, they ended up in the hands of Boko Haram, bound and then slaughtered. 43 victims laid to rest in this cemetery.
At least 15 soldiers and 3 civilians were killed in coordinated terrorist attacks in Mali, the chronically unstable country's army said Wednesday. The latest deadly violence rocked the Sahel state.
Our top story this hour in Nigeria, a Catholic church in the state of Ondo came under attack by gunmen. At least 50 worshippers, including women and children, killed in the gruesome attack during Mass on Sunday.
At least 14 people were killed on Saturday in an explosion in northwest Burkina Faso. The victims were mainly students who were returning to their place of study after spending the holiday season with their families.
The Boko Haram, in collusion with other terror groups, now controls large swathes of land in Nigeria, and it's extending its reach in Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, even sub-Saharan Africa.
Sahel is the vast region that stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea along Sahara Desert's southern rim. Thus, Sahel region is wedged between Sahara Desert in the north and tropical forests and the savannah to the south. This makes climate in the Sahel tropical semi-arid. Speaking of politics, there are several political definitions of the Sahel according to which the area comprises 12 countries and houses 400 million people. However, countries like Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad and Mauritania form the core of the Sahel region. Other political definitions include countries like Senegal, Nigeria, Sudan, South Sudan and Eritrea. The Sahel region has vast stretches of inhospitable terrain. Geographical conditions make it especially difficult to control. Think of Sahel as the African equivalent of Afghanistan in the geographical sense, where gaining total control is quite a task. The central Sahel is notoriously difficult to control. A certain power vacuum thus created has made the region a hunting ground for armed groups. The rebels and jihadists who hold sway in a particular swathe of land can roam freely, even ignoring international borders between the countries. Jihadist violence erupted after a rebellion in northern Mali in 2012. The conflict has since spread to the center of the country, as well as to neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger, claiming thousands of lives and displacing more than 3.5 million people. Several anti-jihadist military operations were launched in Sahel, particularly by France, which is a former colonial power in this region. The result of these operations has been mixed. France's Operation Barkhane was launched in 2014. The aim was to combat and prevent the spread of jihadist groups. The headquarters of the French forces were at N'Djamena, the capital of Chad. On the night of the 14th of April 2014, members of the Islamic jihadist terrorist group Boko Haram attacked the government girls' secondary school in Chibok, Nigeria. This was the first time when they kidnapped the girls from their school, but this doesn't stop there. Since 2014, more than 1,500 Nigerian school children have been abducted by them, and the Nigerian authorities were failed to protect them. Islamist armed groups allied with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, ISIS, in the Greater Sahara killed over 350 civilians. Their presence and attacks on military targets and civilians expanded from Burkina Faso's north and east into the south and west. Their attacks largely targeted communities which had formed local civil defense groups. Even the governments of many countries in Sahel region tried to counter the terrorist organizations, but couldn't able to find a lot of success. Since 2014 to till now, terrorist attacks in Sahel regions have shown no signs of declining. Instead, from the 1st of January to the 30th of June 2023, the region recorded 1,814 incidents of terrorist attacks, which resulted in 4,593 fatalities. By end of April 2023, 500,000 refugees were recorded in the region, with the number of internally displaced persons exceeding 6 million. Condemnation of this terrorist attacks are enormous, but the act of helping out to combat it is very less, especially from the Muslims Ummah. Not a single Muslim leadership have shown any concern to it, and world is seeing it silently without hesitation. Will Africa ever get peace? Will Sahel be ever get free from terrorism? The time will show. The fate of Sahel.